So one of the things I've been very passionate about lately is finding out how you as a Christian can reach more people with the gospel that are the lowest hanging fruit. What I mean by that is Jesus says that the fields are white for harvest and many are fewer the laborers. And I've always been challenged by that because I was like, I am one of those people who really want to do the Lord's will. And my challenge is I evangelize on a pretty regular basis, at least on a weekly basis. And I've got a lot of challenge to be able to find people who are interested in Jesus, which has been really frustrating. So I'll, preach the gospel, even if they say yes, they either have no interest in, in continuing that journey with me specifically, or just not continuing it at all, or not even starting in the first place. So then I think, well, as a Christian, what is it that we're supposed to be doing? And we're supposed to be preaching the gospel to all nations, making disciples of all nations. And everybody who I've discipled in my life has been in a non-repeatable process, meaning that they're all people that were already in my network to some capacity. It was either somebody I already knew or somebody that somebody I knew already knew. And you could use the argument, well, you could just keep finding somebody who you knew, who you knew, who you knew, who they knew, who they knew. But the problem is if you're discipling well, you're not going to be able to get your friend's friend to get discipled by you. Why? Because you discipled your friend, meaning that they are going to be discipling that new person. So they don't need you at all anymore, which is how it should be, right? So what does that mean for me in regards to now discipling the next person? Well, the conclusion that I had come to with this is that I needed to be spending my time reaching people who were the lowest hanging fruit, who wanted Jesus, but didn't know exactly what that looked like, to which I had already come up with my answer, by the way, before I looked at ChatGPT. If you're not familiar, it's artificial intelligence where it will answer your questions with the prompts that you give it. And here's what I asked. I said, where is the best place for me to find people to help them grow in their Christian faith? And the answer were the local church. It's an excellent place for you to connect with like-minded individuals seeking to grow in their faith, attending church services, small groups, and getting involved in volunteer work, Bible study groups, Christian conferences and retreats, online Christian communities, and Christian mentoring programs. And the reason that I want to bring so much emphasis on this point is because I had come to this conclusion myself, that the lowest hanging fruit was people who are in local churches. They're people who are already going to the church buildings, but they just need somebody to be able to help them grow in this relationship that they want to have with Jesus. But they just don't know what that looks like right now. And they need somebody to come in and mentor them, because obviously I think that most of us would all agree that the church is failing by and large at getting people to not only convert, but also then live out and walk out continuously this faith. And predominantly it's because they've been preached an incorrect version of the gospel, which is leaving people in a state of deception. For that reason, and again, complacency, where they believe that they can live the way that they've been living and then God's going to be just happy with how they're living, even though obviously God's not happy with the way that they're living because they're not living for the Lord. So I recognized, oh my gosh, the easiest person I can reach out to, and this doesn't mean I'm not going to evangelize anymore. I'm going to still evangelize on a weekly basis as I do currently, just grocery stores, restaurants, coffee shops, etc. But the local church is where I can find these people because, if you didn't know this, I don't personally attend a local church. I have not attended a local church in, 6+ years now. I have a local body of believers who I fellowship with weekly. I have people at my house almost every single day of my life who are fellowshipping with. I just don't attend in an institutional building. I am not attacking you if you do. I'm not criticizing you. I'm not asking you to stop doing it. Do not hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that you should stop going and just be an island and just live your own version of Christianity. That's not what I'm saying. This is living to an even higher standard, a more extreme standard, where you're holding yourself accountable with a bunch of believers who are in your life daily, able to hold you accountable as well to whether you're living for the Lord or not. So again, please do not hear what I'm not saying. I just have a conviction to not attend one. I attended one for 18+ years, and I just chose to stop doing that after this point, and it's been extremely, extremely fruitful for my growth in my walk with Christ. That said, now for everybody who's already unsubscribed, with that said, it doesn't change the fact that the people who are at least proclaiming to want Jesus are still in these institutional church buildings. And this is the perfect place to reach people without having to spend a whole lot of time, and in a way that is also multipliable. You know what I'm trying to say. And when Jesus tells us to be fruitful and multiply, obviously, part of that is having babies, but more of that is God's image being spread across the world. And using these local churches to be able to be a way to do that is a huge opportunity that we have. And specifically in my context is going to be going to people in small groups, because obviously I can only fellowship or talk with people about Jesus so much during the actual daytime. But the Sunday morning service, because we're all listening to the same thing going on, we're not able to actually have conversations with people. But unless you're going to do it before or after that service, the next most efficient time is in these smaller groups where you can get somebody's phone number, spend more time with them. And again, just so you all know, my strategy is not to get them to stop coming to their local gathering. I don't care whether they go on Sunday mornings. It means no relevancy to me. Where you spend an hour and a half on Sunday morning plays no impact. Jesus tells you you're supposed to be fellowshipping on a regular basis. Are you doing that? Because if not, that's what I care about. Jesus tells us we're supposed to be preaching the gospel to all nations. Are you doing that? Because if not, that's what I care about. Jesus says we're supposed to be discipling believers. Are you doing that? Because if not, that's what I care about. Jesus tells us that we're supposed to be spending time with the Father, prayer, fasting, reading, etc. Are you doing that? Because that's what the Lord cares about, seen scripturally. And finding these people in a Bible study to be able to then take them to the next step of being discipled, truly discipled, is the thing that my heart's cry is for. And I want to define what I mean by discipleship, because some people might have a little bit of confusion as to what I mean by discipleship. When I say discipleship, I mean walking hand in hand with somebody who is interested in growing deeper in their relationship with Jesus. They want to know who God is and what his desire for their life is. That is my desire to do with these people, is to find the people in these categories and help them grow up into all things in Christ so they can look more and more like Jesus every single day. And then one of these days they'll be able to be, seen perfect, holy, and blameless in God's sight, not because of what they did, but because of who they believed in, which in this context obviously is Jesus. So anyways, that's what I mean by discipleship, walking with somebody on a daily basis, not just like every once in a while, not like a one-off kind of thing, but I'm talking like on a daily basis with these people, multiple times a week at least, and helping show them what it looks like to live for Jesus. So that's what I want to do. And I found it just incredible that ChatGPT came up with the exact same answer. I love ChatGPT. It's helped me with so many things that you can see on the side, actually in my search history, some other, statements that I've made or, questions that I've asked in regards to different whatever for work and whatnot. But I've asked so many things about how to parent better, how to be a better husband and things like that. The ChatGPT has had such great answers for free in seconds. So again, I don't have any promotion of that. I'm just saying it's been very beneficial for me to help apply these things to my life. So if that's been a benefit to you, please subscribe. It just helps us get this out to more people. Chat with you all in the next one.